Hi and welcome to this short clip. Now this is not really a disassembly video, this is more to highlight the differences between the 7017A shown here and the 7018A that you may have seen in my other videos. You'll note the main bridge, the chronograph bridge, in actuality in this case looks very much the same as any of the other 70XX series Seikos, including the 7009, 7019 standard movements. The layout is the same, the auto winding works are the same. The obvious difference being when you lift this bridge it exposes the chronograph works rather than the train of wheels. The auto winding mechanism, just like the 7019 etc., is removed with a circlip from underneath that particular plate. And here you can see the layout of the chronograph components. It's an incredibly simple layout, but surprisingly there is a remarkable difference between this one and the 7016 and the 7018. Although the 7016 and 7018 both have sub-registers, they are realized in quite different ways, surprisingly. And it's only recently I've started looking into these movements, and I find them quite fascinating in their simplicity but their robustness. So here is the reset or flyback, or reset and flyback lever as it were, with the hammers for both the central and the subdial. And even though the subdial is not fitted on here, you can see that it still has the aperture. You'll note there where I'm pointing with my tweezers, there is a lack of the second sliding return spring, which is visible, which is fitted to the 7018 and also the 7016. So there we removed the start-stop lever and the click spring for the mainspring barrel. Here we're removing the actuating fingers for the chronograph, complete with the pillar wheel in the middle. This must be done with it in the run position so that the fingers are open. Just off screen there I'm removing the screw for the return spring for the start-stop lever. This then just lifts away from the post that it's fitted to. At which point we can go ahead and draw out the chronograph runner. Next to be removed is the pallet fork bridge. This is held in place by two screws. It's always best to try and lift these straight up where possible, because the pallet pivots can be quite fragile and easily broken, and this applies to any watch, not just Seikos. If you do have to lever them, do it very, very carefully and alternate your levering points so that you're lifting it as straight as you possibly can. Here we remove the escape wheel, which is free to come out. You'll notice also that the pivot of the third wheel is free. And then the barrel bridge, because the only thing it's really holding in here is the barrel. It's more of an intermediate bridge, whereas the chronograph upper bridge is almost an all-in-one bridge, if you like. You'll note that the underside of this one, once removed, is very, very simple. It's a simple flat, it's a machined flat base, like so. We can then remove the third wheel and the mainspring barrel. The third wheel very obviously differs to the 7016, which I haven't yet filmed and shown, but I will be doing, because the third wheel is double stacked on the 7016, and the escape wheel is also considerably taller on the 7016, and also the 7018 because of the spacer plate. And the spacer plate is quite obviously missing on this movement compared to the 7018. The final part to be removed on the movement side is the second wheel bridge. This is held by one screw, and then we can draw the second wheel out. And then flipping over to the dial side, you'll note that the calendar works and the winding train have already been removed prior to working on the back. As said, this is not really a disassembly guide as such. This is more just to highlight the differences between the 7018, which was a bit more of an in-depth service guide, and the 7017. Now, I would say that this should be the same as the 7015, and theoretically it should, because they both work in the same manner. It's just the actual watch body stylings that differ. However, being Seiko, that's not a guaranteed thing. So, removing the yoke with its fitted spring there, and retrieving the sliding pinion or clutch. And then the final thing to be done, as always, prior to running this through the movement cleaner, is to refit the balance and remove the chaton and end stone from both sides of the balance. The whole thing plus the parts is then run through the cleaning machine. So hopefully this little clip was interesting in demonstrating the obvious visible differences between the dual register with subdial versions being the 7016 and 7018, and the single sweep hand versions of being the 7015 and 7017. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.